to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receiver, 7 bona fide pass targets. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. You know, he was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here. Game time decisions on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Ranieri. Certainly hope it has been a profitable week for you thus far. If not, don't worry. We got plenty of Major League Baseball action coming up today, and a guy that knows it better than anybody is Griffin Murphy stepping up in the house. And Griff, great slate of games here today. We're winding down in Major League Baseball. We've got college football in a couple of weeks. The NFL is already here, preseason, and the Olympics just wrapped up, and we crushed it. So it's a great, and I mean great time of year, except if you're the Philadelphia Phillies, at which point you can't hit water if you fell out of a boat. So Merrill Kelly back today for Arizona, which is great news, except he hasn't pitched since April with the shoulder problem. But that's a good sign for Arizona. I think they're a very dangerous team, and my feeling tells me the Phillies peaked too soon this season. They've always been a second-half team. But my goodness, what they did early on, are you worried the Phillies about them, number one, and do you like them against Merrill Kelly today?
So, Joe, I'm going to open this up right now by stating that, no, I am not worried about this Philadelphia Phillies team. You know, they're kind of in a comfort zone right now. They're 8.5 games above in first place. So they're kind of comfortable right now. They just got off that steamrolling win streak. So now they're back in a little bit of a regression mode. You know, they're playing a little bit more calm. They don't really have anybody on their tails. On the other hand, you've got Arizona coming into this matchup steamrolling. They just closed down they're looking to close down a 4-game series winner after cleaning up Philadelphia 11-1 last night. Arizona, they're 3.5 games out of first place and 3 games plus in the wild card race in the NL. Going back, we are back to last season. This team shifted their entire dynamic of gameplay. This is a bunch of kids chasing a dream. Arizona opened up the season going 11-16 in April. June, 11-15. Massive shift came into play, Joe. Arizona went 16-11 in June, 7-2 right now in August, and 16-5 post All-Star break, hitting .285 as a club. This team put themselves in a position to get back into contention, which makes that unaccomplished dream that they had last season back into realization. This could be a real thing now. Philadelphia, they went on that crazy tear. And now, as I mentioned, they're in that regression phase. Getting punched in the face twice now by Arizona, this could be easily a laydown game as Philadelphia approaches their 10th consecutive road game. This team is exhausted. Their bullpen is exhausted. They have an off day tomorrow, and then they get to go back to Philly. I don't expect too much firepower out of the Phillies in tonight's matchup. And I know Arizona, they are not taking their foot off the pedal here. Let the kids play. Let them roll. I love Arizona here. I love Kelly getting that start, and we're getting plus value here at 105 with the D-backs. Joe, give me the D-backs here today.
Let them play. Let them play. Love that. All right, D-backs here today. Griff, yesterday we were on the show here, and it seems like, I'm a big believer when everyone runs left, Griff, I'm running right. It was Paul Skeens Day yesterday. Everybody ran left to Paul Skeens, and I'm like, oh, hell no. Not a second time seeing him now in a couple of weeks. Like, this ain't LSU, people. This is the bigs here. I think we're probably going to see less of Skeens moving forward. I just don't trust this Pirates team. I don't trust them with Falter on the mound here, going up against Glass now. It feels like a Dodgers team total over type of situation. How are you looking at it?
Yeah, this is another one, Joe. The Dodgers put themselves kind of in a situation where now they're dealing with, you've got the red-hot San Diego Padres, and you have a red-hot Arizona Diamondbacks team, both right on their tail. You could have said maybe a month ago, the Dodgers locked this thing up. The entire dynamic has shifted. That game one, Los Angeles made a statement putting up 9 runs in that matchup. Then yesterday, putting a hurt on Paul Skeens, and I predicted this. Skeens had played them back in June. I believe it was June 5th, and he got the win, although the Pirates put up 10 runs in that game in a 6-10 final. So I went through his metrics, and I looked at all of his stats. Dating back to that game, throughout the rest of the season, that was the most hits that Skeens had allowed, along with the most runs that he had allowed all season long. And then in his most recent matchups prior to yesterday, you could see that he was trending to the downside. He was descending as a pitcher. He was allowing more hits and allowing more runs. So yesterday, I fully predicted, and I actually said it on the SportsGrid show, I had the D-backs yesterday, and I expected Skeens to get lit up, and that's exactly what happened. They jumped on him early, they attacked him, and they figured out, and that's the thing with pitchers early on in their career. As teams adapt, you can start watching, where is his locations? Okay, we know this guy's got a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. What are his pitches? Where does he like to throw it? Where are we going to attack him, and how are we going to sit on him? That is exactly what the Dodgers did yesterday, and that is exactly why they capitalized on a 4-1 win yesterday, Joe.
It's again, a lot of baseball still to be played here, but that National League West all of a sudden got real close, more close than Dodger fans wanted to see there. Also getting close is the American League Central. The Guardians finally won a game yesterday against the Twins, but my goodness, man, it has been a rough stretch since the All-Star break for them. But they feel like a team that might have overperformed early. I think maybe there was going to be some regression. But Twins, with no Joe Ryan, they need Festa to step up here. No better spot than today at home against the Guardians. But does he against BB?
Yeah, Joe, you know what? I'm going to be the first one to say it, and Cleveland is going to fall off. I do not believe Cleveland is going to make the playoffs. This is my thing here. I think the Royals are a better team, and I also believe the Twins are a better team. The Twins are coming into this 4-game set. They're currently leading it 2-1. They're second place in the American League Central, just 2.5 games back from Cleveland. Minnesota is one of the best day game teams in all of baseball with a record of 34-19. The team has surged all season long as their numbers have only ascended since April. Remember, opening the season, the biggest struggle for this Minnesota Twins team was their offense. They could not score runs. Now they're finally scoring runs. Cleveland, on the other hand, they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They do not play good baseball on the road with a record of 33-29. Cleveland also does not barrel the ball up during day games. They're hitting just .235 as a team. They're descending. They've been descending since the start of July, and the team does have an incredible bullpen, so we can back them up there. But Minnesota, in today's matchup, they're going to leave it all on the table here. They're looking to clinch a series winner here. They're looking to get themselves 1.5 games out of first place in that AL Central. And truthfully, as I mentioned, I think Cleveland's going to fall off. They're not deep enough in that starting rotation. Despite their metrical numbers, if you look at them on a metrical standpoint, they do have one of the best ERAs in all of baseball and one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. But having said that, I just think this team outperformed their expectations all season long, and now they're finally in that retrace zone. And then you have, on the other hand, the Minnesota Twins, who are only thriving upwards, and it's not like they're bull running straight up. You know, they're trending upwards. They're playing strong baseball. And then you've got the Royals, who I expected a regression all season long, and then we get to Bobby Witt Jr., Salvi Perez, and you start looking at this lineup, and you're like, Michael Massey, holy crap, this team is actually a legitimate ball club. So I love in the AL Central, the Twins and the Royals. But in today's matchup, Joe, I love the Twins at home, day games, money line, -120. Give me the Twins.
Yeah, and they didn't have to use Doran or any of their leverage guys yesterday out of the pen. So the Twins, and again, with no Joe Ryan, and it looks like he's going to be shelved, they are going to need this kid to step up here down the stretch, and today would be a great, and I mean great opportunity. But I'm with you. Give me Waka. Give me the guys there. Give me Singer. Give me Lugo. Give me all the throwaways here to get it done with Kansas City, man. Griffin Murphy, always a pleasure, brother. Plenty more we'll hear from you, obviously, over the weeks as we get closer to football. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, Griff. We appreciate the time as always. Game Time Decisions continues after this.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. You know, he was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
Well, you gotta love live television. Game Time Decision here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Ranieri, and we appreciate you stopping by on a Sunday, which has, well, a lot going on, in fact, as we are here on the 11th day of August. NFL preseason football week 1 wrapping up with a couple of games. Major League Baseball already one game underway right now, a game in which, well, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody hears it, does it really take place? Angels and Nats right now getting it going, and nobody seems to care about that game. But we've got a huge slate coming up a little bit later, starting with the Astros, Red Sox, and Yankees and Rangers. We'll have more on those games coming up. But let's face it, the NFL is back. We want to talk some NFL. And I can't think of a better guy to talk NFL football with than our good friend Jeff Petch. He is known as the Mad Russian, people, at wagertalk.com. And many people don't notice about you, Jeff, but back in the day, a few pounds lighter, you won the Masters, apparently. So I didn't know that until I'm seeing the green jacket. And no, that's not the Masters. That's the Circa football contest. I get it now.
That it is, brother. Well, it's either that or John Daly's, but no, yeah. About the only one I could squeeze into, Colin Montgomery. Who else won it? Shit, I don't know. But yeah,
I love it.
No, thanks for having me, Joe. Love being here, brother.
Appreciate it. All right, so we've got plenty of football coming up. Nobody knows it better than you, obviously. Your record in contests and football contests over the years speaks second to none. Just look at the check behind him there. But let's start with a team that I know you like that's playing a little bit later today, and that is the Rams getting ready to go here against the Cowboys. And the Rams and McVay have no interest in playing anybody in the preseason. He hates it. He's always hated it. But there are still some things we need to see from this Rams team. So start big picture with me on the Rams here. A lot of people think they maybe overperformed last year. The defense is a question. What do you think of this Rams team here moving forward this year?
Well, big blow losing, obviously, Aaron Donald. We all know that, right? But, they had 11 draft picks, Joe, and I feel like they addressed it to a certain extent on the defensive line there. They got that Verse kid and who was the other kid? Fisk. Both those kids are D linemen out of Florida State. They're best friends, and they're also studs, man. So do they replace Aaron Donald? No, but I do feel like they're going to fill a decent role for there. I know they've got a top 5, offensive unit, no doubt. Top 5 coach. I argue top 3 coach. I think Stafford's the best quarterback in the NFC if you can keep him upright, and I feel like they're going to be able to do that. I really do. If you look at the middle of their season, this is where it gets juicy with their schedule. I'm going to name a handful off to you. At Chicago, at home against Green Bay, tough game there. But then we go on a bye. We love McVay off a bye. And then we're at home against Vegas, at home against Minnesota, at Seattle, at home against Miami, and then at New England. I think that stretch right there might give us 5 games right there. And so I really like this team to soar over 8.5 wins. And I think that's one of my best bets, preseason bets on the board right now for a future play is taking them over.
Let me ask you, because today we're going to see the debut of Jimmy Garoppolo in a Rams uniform, right? The other option is Stetson Bennett. Listen, I'm with you. Stafford is amazing, but he does have a history of maybe missing some games here. So I do think, although it means nothing to preseason to McVay, I need to see something from Garoppolo or Bennett. We need to have the confidence here, Jeff, in that second QB, do we not? I think that's what we need to figure out in the preseason.
I think I do, actually. I think that he plays somewhat of a similar game to what Stafford does. I think Garoppolo kind of fits a similar mold there. So offensive-wise, I think he'll learn to adapt to this offense that McVay's got. And I think with McVay being such a whiz when it comes to offense, he's going to find a way to simplify things for him and help him create, some plays during this preseason that's going to show that he's going to be our number 2. Pretty confident that he's going to beat Stetson on the other guy out. But you can't say that 100%. But I think Garoppolo is one of the better backups that you can find in the NFL.
Yeah, and let's face it, we've talked about it, Jeff. Coaching matters. in the NFL. It matters. And McVay, one of the best offensively. So this could very well be for Garoppolo one of the best opportunities to kind of resurrect his career here and be the guy that, if knock on wood, something goes wrong, he's going to be the guy to take over the reins. On the other side of this game here, let me get your thoughts quick on the train wreck that is the Dallas Cowboys, who they're winning the headlines, Jerry Jones, but there's so many question marks on this team. It feels like Jerry's thrown in the towel here on Dak, and that's not going to play out well, is it here, Jeff?
No, I don't think it's going to play out well at all. I heard someone say the other day, I thought this was kind of funny. If you could tell Jerry Jones right now that he would win the Super Bowl or not do another press conference, I think he would choose the press conference over that. But, you just can't keep this guy out of the media. He just causes half the havoc that they've got. Their running game is going to be really bad. They don't even have a true running back right now. They're struggling there. Dak, to me, I think he is a top 10 guy. I'll give you that. But I just don't think that they've got enough weapons surrounding him in order to make it happen this year. I actually do like a little bit of the under on their play. I think it's 10.5 right now is where it sits.
Yep.
I feel like that's a little high, Joe.
It's very high. And again, new D coordinator, right? Dan Quinn, off and gone there. Still some question marks. They just lost their, on the other side of Parsons there, they lost their other edge rusher a couple of weeks ago. So there are so many question marks about this Dallas team. It's kind of head scratching. But the real test here, Jeff, if we're going to get you back on this show, is I'm going to need, when we get back here, your thoughts on my New York Jets. I cannot wait to hear if you think this team is thumbs up. Is it thumbs down? Are we fading? Jeff Petch, the Mad Russian, comes back here on Game Time Decisions on the Grid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass target deals. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. He was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in on this Sunday. It is Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. I'm Joe Ranieri, joined by the one and only, the Mad Russian of WagerTalk.com, Jeff Petch in the house here, talking NFL. And hard to believe, but it's that time of year. Again, Jeff, I know you talked Rams. It's a team that you like a lot. Preseason future-wise here to go over those 8.5 wins. I agree with you. The Cowboys, 10.5 is it's a big expectation for such a train wreck of a team. But I want to get it out of the way. I just want to hear what you have to say about my New York Jets. And I'm not worried. I'm optimistic, but I'm also optimistic that, well, once the season gets here, much like Aaron Rodgers, the shrooms will be flowing. What are we thinking about the Jets this year here, Jeff? Is this a team that you think they have the pieces? That's the thing that drives me crazy about him. If he stays upright and he's healthy all year, are they a playoff team?
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot here, aren't you, Bubba? I'm telling you, if my nose ends up leaving the screen, you know I'm full of it all the way up to here just to get back on. So
I love it.
Yeah. No, if they keep them up, I mean, are you kidding me, Joe? If they keep them up, I mean, this squad right here is almost near impossible to do an over-under on at the beginning, because you could make an argument for 6 wins and you can make an argument to make a run. And it all depends on his health, as we know. And, I didn't love the fact that he skipped voluntary workouts because he had a pre-vacation already planned. That kind of ticked me off, and it would really tick me off if I was a Jets guy. But, I really do like their offensive line, Joe. I like what they did there. They went with a lot of guys that are a little long in the tooth there, and I think that helps with that experience that they're going to use. He does have a lot of weapons still around that are supporting him. So I think if they can keep him upright, yeah, I do. I think they really do have a chance to make a run. I mean, their defense, rock solid. I mean, it's top 5, I argue. I mean, you got Gardner, Reed, Johnson, Williams, all those guys are studs. And let's just call this year what it is, Joe. This is a do or die year for you guys. I mean, Salah's on the hot seat, your GM's on the hot seat. You guys tank it and go 7-10. It's curtains for those guys. So all I can say to you, Bub, is that I do think he got potential if he stays upright, but I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you.
Well, it's interesting, Jeff, because if you look at the AFC East on itself, right? And listen, there could be an argument to say that the AFC East, if they all keep it together here, could be one of the better divisions in football. But when you look at the Jets, you look at Buffalo, you look at Miami, they all have 9.5 wins or higher this year. So the expectations for these teams in the AFC East, is it not boom or bust for all of those teams? They all can't go over 9.5 wins, right?
Somebody's got to give, somebody's got to lay an egg. The numbers just don't work out, so who is it going to be? I think, like I said, if you can keep Rodgers upright, it's not you guys. So my pick on that would probably be, I hate to say it, but probably Buffalo. What are your thoughts?
What about Miami? Think about Miami here for a minute. Totally revamped defense. I'm not a big Tua guy. I'm a big Tua guy when he plays teams under 500. The problem with him, until he wins a game where it's 28 degrees outside on the road, he's won 1 game in 2 seasons against teams that were in the playoffs the following year. They're going to score a ton of points. They're going to look flashy, but I ain't going over 9.5 wins. The schedule is much harder this year. I think any one of those teams, and we all think the Patriots blow, and we all know it's going to be a rough sledding for the Patriots here. But here's what I think out of those 3 teams, Jeff, and you tell me. One of those 3 teams is going to win 11 games. The other teams are going to be 500 at best, and it's going to be a runaway division. I guess the $1 million question is who you putting your money on to get those 11 wins. And it could be any one of them at any point.
Well, I agree with you 100% right. You brought up New England. Take a look, Joe, when you get a sec. Take a look at that gauntlet of QBs those guys have up against them this year. I don't think they win 4 games, man.
I'm with you. Jeff, I am so with you. You have no idea. And watching it the other night, I'm like, I just don't trust that coaching matters, and
Right.
Mayo, fantastic player, great assistant coach. You don't know what you're going to get when it matters the most. Mad Russian, Jeff Petch, stay right there. We'll have one more segment when Game Time Decisions continues.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. He was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here on this Sunday now, August the 11th. It is Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Ranieri, joined by the Mad Russian, Mr. Jeff Petch here of Wager Talk. And when it comes to football contests, the green jacket he's wearing tells you it all. Not because he's a Masters winner, but because the check behind him says nobody does football contests better than the Mad Russian here. And we've been talking some of these teams here, Jeff, coming up this season. We mentioned the AFC East and how we've got 3 teams preseason with win totals of 9.5 or better, with Miami and the Jets and Buffalo. And then here is New England, 4.5 wins. We watched them the other night. Listen, I think defensively they're going to be okay. They always have been. But it's a new era. Drake May, the rookie. I think the sky is the limit. But Jared Mayo, first-time head coach, taking over a team that was dead last in every offensive category last year. He's not exactly an offensive genius here. It just feels like it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you mentioned this schedule. Look at this schedule, Jeff, of what they're going to have to deal with. I still can't find 5 wins here. Can you?
No, I can't. I personally bet the under 4.5. If you go through and if you look at these quarterbacks that they play, holy smokes, man. It is just brutal. This gauntlet's about as worst of anything I've seen. And then you've got a team that is not going to be able to score points. So you're going to go up against several top-tier quarterbacks every single week almost. And you can't score points. So what does that mean? You're going to come out on short on the other end. And I mean, as good as their defense might be, I just there's no way they're going to stay in these games, man. And I honestly think I got them pegged at like 3.5 wins, and I love the under 4.5.
I'm with you. I'm on that as well. And again, I mean, when you look at the defense, not just the quarterbacks they got to go against, but the defenses they got to go. And what Jacoby Brissett's going to be your savior? Like, hey, it's got disaster written all over it, Jeff. We did yesterday happen to see Joe Burrow on the field, T. Higgins on the field, and Burrow goes out, marches down the field, 72 yards in the opening possession, and just like like riding a bike, never got done. I think the AFC North is fascinating this year here. 9-8 is what the Bengals finished there.
Yep.
They've got a better schedule. I think everyone has fallen in love with the Ravens simply because that's what we do every time this year. But I'm not so. I got questions on the Ravens. I do think as long as Joe Burrow's healthy, is it not the Bengals division to lose here?
I think they're right there. I think that, again, he's been plagued with injuries, so it's going to come down to that. But I think he's and I know we got a Buffalo guy on the other side of this, but I think he's right there, number 2 behind Mahomes. Some people might argue Allen before him, but with Burrow being healthy, I think he's number 1. He's number 2, number 3 for sure. I think, I do think that they're going to win this division. I think that the Ravens, they're going to be right there too, man. It's going to be a dogfight between those two. I don't see Pittsburgh getting into the mix at all. So I think it's going to be a 2-man race there for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's say this. Who's the best quarterback in the AFC North? It's not even – am I right?
You got to go. Burrow for sure. I mean,
it's not even close. Pittsburgh's got to figure it out. Russell Wilson – or Fields, that's not great. Do you think, and here's the only caveat I would say in this division. Okay. We know Deshaun Watson has it in him. Okay? The question is, if he doesn't figure it out, the Browns are going to be awful. If Deshaun Watson flips that switch and finally puts it together, he's got the weapons, he's got the defense, he would be the only caveat to me, because if he can revert back to what we know he's capable of, then the Browns are a pretty dangerous team, are they not?
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Defensively, God, they're really good. And they are so good.
Yep.
And they just fly all over the football field. And that's obviously a tough place to play too as well in Cleveland. I don't think Deshaun's going to get there, man. I think the writing's on the wall over the last couple years. I think we've seen what we know. And I just don't see him getting back to where he needed to be. I think IU kind of shared with us the way a lot of people feel about him, right? They had that trade ready to rock and roll, and he said, 86, that idea, I'm not going there. So that kind of shares with you what those wide receivers think of that guy. I think he's on the you think he'll continue on the downslide, my man.
You got to be able to run the ball. And with Chubb back, they're going to be able to run the ball in Cleveland. That defense will keep them in games, but the reality is, if Deshaun Watson can't find it, guys, and let's face it, that bag of money he got is heavy. He might have pulled something, dragging that thing around there from massage appointment to massage appointment. Yeah, oh, did I say that? I did. Let me ask you this, though, here, Jeff. The Houston Texans. I love this team. Love D'Amico Ryans. I love all of them. But is this not the sophomore jinx situation? It feels like everybody's running to Houston, and that worries me a lot. The expectations for this Texans team, given where they were a couple of years ago, is kind of scary, is it not?
Oh, man. I believe in them. I believe in them. I do. I believe it or not, you brought that up. Last night I was kind of shopping around looking for the best number on them for the AFC. And I know. I just – their weapons are just – I'm not saying to bet it, right? But I'm saying that I was at least looking for a number. I think the best one I found was plus 850. And then Super Bowl wise, I think it was 16-1. I think if they make it, they would probably be the favorites. So why not just bet them Super Bowl and hedge off? So they're so loaded on offensively. Oh my gosh! And then I like Will Anderson a lot coming off the edge.
Yep.
I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with, and I like what they believe in Ryans. Man, they'll run through a wall for that guy.
They absolutely will, but there is a big difference from going from the hunter to the hunted, and that's kind of what's happening this year with the Texans. So I wouldn't go all in early, but I do think there's going to be opportunities early in the season with the Texans. Are going to be so overvalued, Jeff, that there's going to be. I'm looking for spots to fade them because, again, this is a totally different world than the one they entered, not to mention a year of tape for DC's. This is going to be interesting. I don't know what to make of Jacksonville. I love Trevor Lawrence. I have loved him, but I $275 million he just signed. Is it time to fade him now again this year? Doug Peterson and crew, they're just a team I feel should be so much better than what we've seen over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, those guys just can't seem to get over the hump, and
no.
Going back, they just can't seem to do it. And going back a little bit earlier to what you were just talking about fading Houston, I would say wait until about week 3 because I think they're looking to be about 3-0, right? If you look back at that schedule, that'd be the time I would hammer and go after them, go against them. But Jacksonville, do I think they've got what they need and what it takes? I don't. I mean, there's really no home field advantage there when they play at home. Trevor just, we keep saying over and over again, we're ready for this guy to pop. We're ready for him to pop. And he shows signs of it, but he can't put a string together 2 or 3 games in a row. So I think that there would be a team that I would probably fade as well.
All right. So the vote is in here, Jeff. You've passed the test. The Jet and Buffalo fans behind the scenes gave you a thumbs up that you're allowed to come back on the show. In the meantime, man, we appreciate the time. Enjoy your Sunday. Game Time Decisions continues after this.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. He was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
Oh, welcome back in here. Game time decisions on the Sports Grid Network. I'm Joe Ranieri. A happy Sunday to you here as we are getting ready for some Major League Baseball coming up, as well as a little NFL preseason action. We do have an update, though. One game, an early game on the diamond underway in Washington at Nats Park there, and the Angels are all over the Nats there. It's a 5-0 game right there in the bottom of the fourth. We got plenty of games coming up in the, top of the hour here. Of course, the Yankees are going to get ready to get going, and can they and will they be able to handle business against the Texas Rangers with two gas cans on the mound? The problem with the Yankees, they got to go up against the left-handed Heaney. And Heaney, let's just say, knows the Yankees, and the Yankees can't hit left-handed pitching. They haven't all year, and they also have trouble winning games on their own home field, which is also just kind of mind-numbing when you think about it. So this is a game we're starting to see the total creep up, 9.5 there. I am seeing 10s popping up in the marketplace. Stroman got absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree his last time out. The idea, and he's been progressively worse as the season has gone from, he was really good up until about middle of June, and then from middle of June to now, he has been the least effective pitcher of the Yankees rotation here, and that's rough. So we're going to have to see what they can get done here today. If the Yankees are going to win, there's going to have to be runs and more runs. In fact, he's got, just to give you an idea of how bad Stroman has been this year at Yankee Stadium, he's got a 5.34 ERA. He's allowed 15 home runs in 59 innings pitched. That is crazy. And New York is 12-16 versus left-handed pitchers here. And Heaney has been pretty steady for them this season from the left-handed side. A lot of question marks around that Rangers pitching staff and starting pitching. The good news, they said DeGrom just threw off the mound, and they are saying that they're being optimistic. Now, optimistic means maybe we'll see him if they actually have something to play for over at the end of the next 3 weeks, but seeing how they have been absolutely terrible since the All-Star break, and they have not been able to put it together, we may not see him. But it is good news to know that DeGrom is proceeding and has healed for the most part. And Bruce Bochy sounded actually pretty excited about the fact that DeGrom might be available to him, especially with Scherzer now back on the IL. So a lot of questions for the Rangers remain, not a lot of questions for Houston as they continue to just plow through the teams that they're playing on their way, hopefully, to not only a postseason spot, but possibly the American League West crown. Hunter Brown on the mound here, taking on James Paxton, who has also been pretty decent over his life. I believe both of these guys have not given up more than 3 earned runs in, I believe, 6 of their last 7 starts. Hunter Brown is almost guaranteed to give you at least 6 innings, if not more. And why do I know that? Because he's done it in 8 of his last 9 starts. It feels like this is a game, even though we're seeing 10.5 for a total, and at any moment the runs can come from these teams. It feels like this is going to be an opportunity here to maybe get a little bit of a pitcher's battle early here. The 5.5 total in the first 5. I am willing to bet that a pitcher's battle erupts until the bullpens get in. So I'm not afraid of the first 5 under in this one at all. I also believe that if anybody is going to hit one of these 2 pitchers, it's probably the Houston lineup getting to Paxton before Boston, who struck out a whopping 15 times in that game yesterday. I don't think Boston's going to get to Hunter Brown before the other way around. We do also have, of course, we've been talking NFL action here, and we got 2 preseason games coming your way. One at the top of the hour, and you got to love that preseason football is here, no? It's pretty exciting. It's the Broncos and the Colts. coming up here at the top of the hour, 1.5 there. We have learned that, yes, it looks like Richardson will be starting along with a bunch of the other starters on the Colts early here. They lost him week 5 last year because of the shoulder injury, which it was always a concern last year. Even when they did put him in, there was a concern about his AC joint. He had an AC joint sprain, but the way he played like a rookie, taking a lot of unnecessary shots in the NFL, and you got to learn to get down in the NFL. Unfortunately, he paid the price, and so did the Colts, who still managed to go 9-8, and yet they lost him in the 5th week into the season, and that was, of course, Gardner Minshew taking over the reins and helping that team to an above 500 record, and with an opportunity late in the season to get it done and maybe make a postseason push there. But they did, of course, have that winner-take-all game at home in Week 18 against Houston. If you guys can remember that, maybe it's all starting to come back to you. Remember how that was? Colts win, they're in. Houston wins, they're in. Unbelievable battle between division rivals there. So, my goodness. And by the way, they did not make a ton of roster moves in free agency. So this is going to be very interesting this season for the Colts and Shane Steichen, who I think is one of the better offensive-minded coaches. I think he did a lot with a little last year, and I do believe that the Colts are a team that are certainly going to go toe-to-toe with Houston in this division, and it's going to be worth keeping an eye on. And the late afternoon game, we talked about the Rams taking on the Cowboys here, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Get ready for the Jimmy Garoppolo era. Who? Jimmy Garoppolo will get the start for the Rams. Obviously, no Matt Stafford, but it's either him or Stetson Bennett, the former Georgia quarterback. Who's going to be the backup? We got a lot more coming up on that as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League, 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver, 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. You know, he was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
However many units are on the line, however many people, however many cocktails, like it's a perfect scorecard. And someone questioned him on one hole. He's like, well, one thing I never get wrong is the scorecard. And then we're on like 13 and he's added up and he's like, this is wrong.
I looked back from number 13 and I'm like, I'm missing $140 somewhere. I don't know where I'm missing it. And I'm looking back and I'm like, no, yeah, it doesn't match up on 11. And I got to track it back to like number 7.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions as we look to close out this edition here on a Sunday. It's kind of hard to believe, but yes, Sunday is here, just a few weeks away from the start of college football, not to mention the start of the NFL season. We've got plenty more preseason football, a lot of questions still to be answered with a whole bunch of teams, but get ready. It is officially football season here, and we have got you covered as always on SportsGrid. In fact, in-game live all access is coming up next, and they will have you over the next couple of hours covering all the games here in Major League Baseball that are getting ready to get underway, and there are plenty of them, including one game already underway with the Angels taking it to the Nats here in the fifth inning, 5-0. But we talked about, of course, the Astros and Boston going at it. The Yankees and the Rangers are a game that we're going to keep an eye on. And don't forget, the Yankees are in a battle with the Baltimore Orioles, who are getting ready to take on the Tampa Bay Rays on the road. They are a half game up on the Yankees right now. And the Orioles have done a pretty good job of handling business against Tampa Bay. They've also done a pretty good job of being on the road here. They just, I believe, they're going to try and complete the second straight road sweep of the Rays here today in St. Pete. They swept them a 4-game series at the Trop back in early June. And then, of course, they'll have an opportunity to do another sweep in this one, a 3-0, 4-0 sweep. So possibly go 7-0, 8-0 against the Tampa Bay Rays. That would be impressive here. Albert Suarez on the mound for him, filling in for the injured Grayson Rodriguez, another pitcher on the shelf for the Baltimore Orioles here, which is the one thing that you got to go, ouch. Suarez was good early in the season, but then eventually started to slow down, and the fastball wasn't moving as much. The spin rates weren't there, and teams really started to clobber him. So they got him out of the rotation. Now he's got to go back in because the injuries continue to pile up for him here. But the Orioles know it's going to be a dogfight the rest of the way, but it's really Jeffrey Springs I'm going to be interested to see here. Just returned July 28th from Tommy John surgery. We saw Drew Rasmussen back for Tampa Bay yesterday. Shane Baz. I mean, when you go down the rotation of the Tampa Bay Rays, the future is looking really, really bright. And I know a lot of Tampa Bay Ray fans, all three of them, were upset how they traded away Azarina and pretty much traded away most of their quality position players there at the deadline and some bullpen pieces. But I do think Tampa, they have a way of doing things. And with that starting rotation, moving forward, all healthy, I think the sky is the limit for the Tampa Bay Rays. But it's a game that we got to keep an eye on because it's a possible sweep for Baltimore. We have another possible sweep happening today in Miami with the Padres getting ready to sweep the Marlins. And this is interesting because Dylan Cease is on the mound, but the Marlins have not gone quietly in this series. Extra innings on Friday, a 9-8 Padres win yesterday. The Marlins are feisty, and I give them credit with nothing to play for here. And Dylan Cease, well, he has been on a roll, to say the least here. It's a pretty big number for the Padres here today, but it feels like a good time to go maybe team total under for the Marlins. Also, potential sweep with the Brewers over the Reds. Lodolo going up against Hall. Now, if you don't know, Hall's an interesting cat here for the Brewers. He was the prize trade. He was the part of the trade that sent Corbin Burns to Baltimore. This kid is worth watching. He has been injured rather, but he was the reason that trade took place to Baltimore, sending Corbin Burns there. They wanted this kid. His stuff is absolutely electric, and this is going to be the first time we're going to get a chance to see him here in a Milwaukee uniform this season. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. However, I'm not stepping in front of the Milwaukee Brewers train right now. That is rolling, to say the least. And you got plenty more baseball culminating with the Mets in Seattle for Sunday night baseball. Hopefully the Mets will be able to score a run. That would be fantastic after being shut out back-to-back. And like I said, in-game live, All Access is coming up next. They will have all the Major League Baseball games ready to go for you. Game Time Decisions will be back again tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you again soon.